So you just lost for winning. It's like I'm going to the store. It's like I'm going to the store and I get robbed at gunpoint. And for some miraculous reason, by God's gift, I somehow managed to like swat the gun away from the guy that's pointing it at me. And then my reward is the guy pulls out a knife. That's how it feels to get brave countered in this game. What is the point of me having played well? There is no point, because this also means that there is no mid-range. There is effectively no mid-range in this game. The mid-range is to press XXL, because why would I press a medium button when I can press a plus on block forward advancing move that gives me my turn, can lead into combo, and that my opponent just has to hold and can barely whiff punish it. So greetings friends, we're gonna be doing something that I believe needs to be talked about. A lot of people have talked about it before, but I don't think they have done such a great job explaining exactly why some things are a certain way. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be explaining the main issues that Granblue Versus Rising has had in the last year up to now. And what I want to start talking about is what are the issues in this game. So the first thing I want to talk about is 6XL. So what is Dash Light? So Dash Light is a normal move that all characters have access to. Some characters have it different than others. But the main issue with this game is that this is a forward advancing plus on block move that is also a combo starter, and it also crashes slides. So let's break that down for a bit. So when you start playing the game, you're probably gonna be told, you should 6XL a lot. You should press this button a lot. And that's correct. You should be pressing this button a lot. Because as you can see, I get a full combo. And look at the corner carry, by the way. Look how far I'm pushing them. I mean, that's Belial stuff, by the way. But most characters get some distance like this. Which is not nothing, you know. It's not nothing, it's substantial. So first thing, it leads into close medium link and lets you do a full auto combo, and then you can end in a special. And you might say, well, then if they can do that to you, there should be like something your opponent can do, right? Let's see the stats on this move. So by definition, like, I think most people agree that the borderline what is reactable or not is like 18 frames, around that ballpark. 18 frames is it's around what's like borderline what you can start reacting to. Sometimes unreactable, sometimes 18 is a little too fast depending on context. But this move is 8 frames. But this, and actually not 8, is 9, because in this game has, when you start running, this move you need to do while running. And when you start running, there's 1 frame at the biggest, at most. So it's actually like 9 frames, which is still basically unreactable. Like, you can kinda like see the other guy running if they're doing it from far away. But if they're doing it from they're doing it from here, there's no reaction. If you like counter hit them out of like 6XL startup, it's a read, and you did a button way beforehand. And the issue is that a lot of like characters don't have a button that's fast enough at this range that reaches, except like a medium button. And the medium buttons in this game are not like fast enough often. Like, if you see like standard medium buttons, let's take Gran, for example. His far medium is 7 frames. And that means you have to be 2 frames correct for you to land 6XL, for you to like hit the 6XL on a startup. And that's like not possible most of the time. And this makes it so that the RPS around this move is basically just walk back and do something and guess right, which would be okay if the reward from this, I'm gonna go to Clash level in a bit because I'm gonna explain the whole system. the reward from this is just absurdly high on a lot of characters. Like you can get 6XL full combo corner carry, or you can do 6XL into the corner, or you can do like, you can even anti-air with this. I have anti-aired people with 6XL by accident a lot of times. Like it's very crazy how much this move accomplishes. I mean, this is similar. I don't know if you're familiar with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. There's a move Dormammu does that's like the Rose Garden, and he puts like stuff on the ground and it does everything. And it's the same issue here. This move does too much for too little risk, basically. And something else is this thing. Attack level. Attack level 2. So what is an attack level? So in most Arxis games, moves have different like frame properties depending on their attack level. So this is usually done so that heavy buttons that are attack level 4 usually feel like they are heavier in a sense. In the sense that it has more hit stun, more block stun, more hit stop. And it also means that if you do a heavy move and your opponent does like a light, the heavy move will win when you do them like simultaneously. So this is done so that it's more intuitive for the players to know, oh, this move looks very like chunky. This move looks very like big. So it makes sense that a big move will kill the small move, the little move, you know? That type of thing. For example, we have Grand's Far H, which is attack level 3, which means it beats lights and mediums, which is good, you know, because this move is supposed to be a whiff punish tool. And you would say, okay, that makes sense. You know, we want the move with a lot of, usually more startup, you know, 17 frame startup, a more recovery, and that are more like unsafe on block to be, you know, stronger. That makes sense, right? So going back to the following, 6XL is at Clash attack level 2. Attack level 2 means that this is the same attack level as a medium. This is higher attack level than a light. This is the same attack level as a Far M. This is higher attack level than a Far L. This is higher attack level than a Close M. So basically anything that's not a heavy will lose to attack level 2 in general. So that means that once the 6XL has been put out, the only move that is not like a special or a DP that can punish that is a heavy. But as I mentioned before, heavy attacks have insanely long startup usually and a lot of recovery. So you are pressing a move that comes out super slow, and if you whiff it, your opponent has a very easy way to punish it. Most of the time, if you do a 6XL and your opponent tries to do a heavy, this is 17 frame startup, this is 8 frame startup, and it's only 10 frames recovery. So you're gonna recover way earlier than someone that does a heavy move. This means that you can whiff the 6XL, the opponent does a heavy move, and once you recovered, they are still recovering from the heavy move. And they can do another 6XL, for example, or a light and punish you, or something like that. And then you might say, okay, then, this is attack level 2, and you have told me that far medium attacks, are also attack level 2. Okay, so when two moves that are the same attack level basically hit each other, they clash. And what this means is that you enter like a slowdown minigame in which the fastest move is throw, but throw loses to DP. And if you both throw, you tech, and if one guy DPs, they beat the throw, but then the other guy can start doing like block. And that's just like a silly RPS. But this means that it's like very difficult to challenge 6XL with anything that you have, unless it's a heavy move, and then you're just opening yourself up to like getting whiff punished, because the recovery on this move is basically non-existent. It says 10 to 15, but it's actually like this, due to the spacing and the forward movement, it's sometimes very tricky to do it And a lot of people like with 6XL and then they got time to do something, because you're not always ready to like answer 6XL perfectly due to spacing and other stuff happening on the screen. So this makes it so that like you get situations where the only thing that you can do is to 6XL them before they 6XL you. So this just becomes a game of who 6XLs faster. And then the whole game is warped, because characters with good 6XLs are just gonna destroy whoever doesn't have a way to deal with that, or that against characters that don't have a good 6XL. Like most owners don't have good 6XLs. And that is like very like problematic for a lot of characters, because this also means that there is no mid-range. There is effectively no mid-range in this game. The mid-range is to press 6XL, because why would I press a medium button when I can press a plus on block forward advancing move that gives me my turn, can lead into combo, and that my opponent just has to hold and can barely whiff punish it. Like the advantages that you get by pressing it is that you don't really need to do anything. You never basically want to ever press a far medium button, except in very specific situations. And it being attack level 2 means that on defense, if you press like, let's say you want to mash, you do a 2L, which is your fastest move, and you do it a little too late, you get crushed and counter hit in the corner. So this makes it like very scary to press against people that are doing like spaced out 6XL pressure. And then that means that the only way to realistically stop them from doing this to you over and over again is to either fuzzy mash and risk getting counter hit or thrown or whatever, which is not that bad, but you know. Or to use my favorite button, fucking Brave Counter. Okay, I don't like, you know, exaggerating and using hyperbole or like using language that is not too accurate, because I think with social media, the way we talk about things has deteriorated insanely, just too much. But when I say this is the scrubbiest mechanic, one of the scrubbiest mechanics I have seen in a game, not just in a game, in a long time. Like, this thing is like the antithesis of what I think good game design is. This is a very forceful mechanic that has been injected into the game to make it so that people can effectively not block ever. And it is incentivized for you, even if you could block everything, it makes no sense to block everything, because this move exists. So let me explain. This move is directly linked with what is called the bravery point system, which are the little like square diamonds that appear at the top of the screen. If you've watched a game of Granblue, you've seen these like 3 diamonds on top. And these diamonds are your most important resource, because they are tied to Brave Counter. You can spend these resources to either do a combo extension called Raging Strike, or you can use them as a guard cancel called Brave Counter. So the way this works is similar to the Street Fighter 6 drive reversal, which is like you can also use it on block, and it also pushes your opponent away, and it uses resource of the game, which in Street Fighter is the drive meter, and in this game it's the diamond meter. So it works in the concept is the same. Now here is the big difference. This move, when your opponent is doing a string, let's say they're doing, let's go back to the game. Let's say I'm Siegfried and I'm doing like 6XL. I don't want to hold the plus frames, and I press medium and heavy, and I get a this, which knocks them back. And you will say, oh, cool, you know, that's fine. You reset the neutral. Now let's see what happens. Let's see what happens when I'm doing an auto combo, for example. Oh, it says counter right there. You saw? It says counter. Oh, that's curious. Oh, did I just fucking get a safe jump? Hold up. Oh, did I just fucking get a safe jump into pressure? Oh, I get a full combo from that shit? Wait, what is happening? Wait, I'm goated? I'm the goat of fighting games? Oh, you got counter hit? Oh, I missed the safe jump. I'm bad. Oh, I got side switch? I got side switch from that? Oh, that's crazy. Wait, what is happening here? Okay, so let me explain what is happening here. So this move, as I mentioned, knocks you back. However, if you're doing a string and you get hit by this, you get counter hit. And when you get counter hit, you get hard knockdown. Okay, when you get counter hit in this game, and you get thrown in the ground, a lot of characters get a safe jump, or you get Oki. For example, if you're playing like a character with a fireball or like any sort of like set play projectile, like for example, say Ferry, that she has this move called Gigi, which is like a forward moving like projectile that stays on the ground and that she can like turn on to activate. This means that you can brave counter someone, and then you can put Gigi on top, and then you can do stuff with like set play stuff, mix stuff, whatever you want, at some distances. This means that you were losing. Someone got in on you. Now you might argue it wasn't fair because they used 6XL, but let's just pretend that they I don't know, they whiff punished you, they used like a special move, they knocked you down, they slowly pushed you into the corner, and then they brave counter. Say you lost neutral, you lost like 1 or 2 interactions. And the attacker is rewarded by pressuring you in the corner or wherever on the screen. And then you just decide to brave counter during their pressure. And your reward as the attacker for accomplishing all of that is you get knocked down and they get set play, they get Oki, they get their turn. So you just lost for winning. It's like I'm going to the store. It's like I'm going to the store and I get robbed at gunpoint. And for some miraculous reason, by God's gift, I somehow managed to like swat the gun away from the guy that's pointing it at me. And then my reward is the guy pulls out a knife. That's how it feels to get brave counter in this game. That's what it feels like to play the game. I did something good, and then I'm fucking still fucked. And I'm still screwed. Which is crazy to think. It's like, what is the point of me having played well? There is no point. I lost. You just get fucked. Now if you remember the Street Fighter, but in Street Fighter, if you block it, you can punish it. What happens when you block brave counter? Do you see this number right here? On block, brave counter is +6. The fastest move in this game is 5 frames. Close light, which is like the universal +4, pressure starter in this game. Close light is 6 frame startup. So your opponent can do a +4 move for free. Your opponent can play strike throw for free. You guessed right. You were like, okay, they're gonna do a brave counter. I'm gonna block it. Block. They do brave counter. They are still plus. It's still their turn. You gotta hold the strike throw mix. Your reward for blocking it is you still gotta hold it. Okay. Then what do we do? What do we do? We start going into BC handshake wars. The one. So this is what happens at high level. When people start doing BC. BC, yup. good game, bro. Good game. We just fucking spent 4 brave points for that shit. And the result is nothing. We just like the Zoe player that started it is the Ladia player that started it like loses its turn. Like it's like nothing happened. It's literally like nothing happened. Nothing was accomplished except we put ourselves like down 2 brave points. Now you might say, oh, but what happens when brave points go down? So when you have 2 brave points, nothing happens. When you have 1, you take 20% extra, and when you don't have any, it's 50% extra. So eventually, just what happens is that, oh, we just exchanged resources. We just reduced the amount of interactions in the game by like 1 or 2. Like we just made the game a little shorter, a little bit more volatile. That's all that happened. Because that's just like the situation. Now you might say, well, is there nothing else you can do? You could spot dodge it, and you could be like +2, and at +2, like you can do like a throw maybe. But doing a spot dodge during your own pressure, mind you, it's like you are giving up your pressure to do a spot dodge as a read to a brave counter. And if they don't do brave counter and they react to you spot dodging, they throw you, hard knockdown you, and you lose your turn and they get pressure. So you are gambling your pressure and a chance of them to like start winning on you to try to maybe get something out of baiting a brave counter. So the risk the attacker has to incur in order to counter this is just they could just lose the game and the pressure just to try to counter this. So a lot of times you just take that shit. A lot of times if they BC, alright bro, you got me. Alright bro, let's play again. Fuck it bro, let's play again. And mind you, you have 3 of these. You got 3 brave points. So technically, if you never wanna hold anything, if you never wanna block, you could, in theory, just brave counter every time you get grazed by plus frames. Every time your opponent does a save jump, you can just BC that shit, which is just insane. Because this makes it so that if you're a good player and you're getting in on your opponent and your opponent is just BCing you every time, you gotta do 3 times the amount of work to get a reward. Not just a big reward, a reward. Now you might say, oh, they take 50% more damage at 0 VP. That means you can 2-touch them. I mean, you still gotta get that hit. You still gotta touch them twice, you know. You still gotta like hit them. So effectively, you gotta interact 5 or more times to even have a chance to fucking get past this mechanic if the opponent just decides to never block and only brave counter. And something funny that happens with this button also is that this combination of buttons, medium and heavy, is also the same as a Raging Strike. So a Raging Strike is an unblockable, like slow startup thing. It's like Drive Impact. I think it's almost the same startup as Drive Impact. But the counterplay to this is like to spot dodge, and if you spot dodge or you hit them during the startup, you get a counter hit and a full combo. But the thing is, since Brave Counter is so strong, a lot of people are doing this. Like this is my medium or my heavy button, are like blocking and they're like tapping this. They're tapping medium and heavy during like your block strings. If you're spacing out, they're trying to time it to brave counter you. And sometimes, if the gap is too big, a Raging Strike comes out. And if you, as the attacker, are doing the stagger pressure to bait like a tech throw or a mash, if you are doing a move during its startup, and your opponent did a brave counter too late, it turns into Raging Strike. And you get counter hit Raging Strike, and Raging Strike on counter hit like crumples you, and they get a full massive crouching combo. So there are cases in which by complete accident your opponent gets rewarded for making a mistake. So there is the case where your opponent like is trying to BC, they get a raging strike, and you as the attacker that are doing the good thing, you get counter hit by no fault of your own and by zero intention of the defender. And they get a full combo, and maybe you just die. Maybe you die because of that. Maybe you lose the game because of that. Also, this thing can anti-air for some reason. I don't know why this can anti-air. There are many situations where like people are trying to jump to bait a throw, for example, and the person wants to do BC. So someone jumps to try to bait a throw, and they get hit by anti-air raging strike, which is very fucking funny to see. And I think it should like, it's just like the most stupid thing that could happen. And I really do not understand. Like, this was not play tested. I refuse to believe this was play tested, because there is no world in which someone that plays fighting games like uses these mechanics for like longer than a day, and it's like, I think this shit is too is good, by the way, ship it. I think this just needed more testing, because the game was delayed, reminding you of that. It was delayed. I think the game needed more time in the oven and needed one more beta test. Because these two things are like very dumb. And some people complain also that raging strikes give you like free confirms for very little risk. And I think that's fair to say, but I think it's fine also. So just to finish Brave counter thing, I think this shit should not be plus on block. I think I'm gonna give you what I think this Brave counter should be. So Brave counter on block should be 0, so that you both are forced to RPS and fuck it. There should be no hard knockdown if you get Brave counter. If you want, you can like make it like knock the opponent back further off the screen if you still don't want, you know, the reward to be so little. You can just increase the distance that opponents are launched upon getting hit by Brave counter, and I think that would be okay, because you can air tech, you can tech that to reduce the recovery. And additionally, change like the button combination between Raging Strike and Brave counter. Make like Brave counter medium and unique, for example, or heavy and unique, or something like that, so that it doesn't like overlap with Raging Strike, and I think that would be okay. And on spot dodge, I think Brave counter should be -4. If you whiff a Brave counter, you should get thrown. I think getting thrown is like fine. In my opinion, if you get thrown, it's not the end of the world, because there's like a bunch of like things you can do on wake up to mitigate people like doing mitigate. You can wake up DP, you can fuzzy mash, you can delay tech. I mean, it's not the end of the world getting thrown. It's not like you're getting full combo. And overall, I think that fixes it. Just make it not hard knockdown, make it 0 on block, and make it -4 on spot dodge, so that if you gamble to bait the Brave counter, you get at least like a throw guaranteed all the time. That is, I think if they change these two things, this thing and 6XL, we're golden. 6XL, what I think they should do with this button is that it should have recovery, like real recovery. It should be like 15 frames or 18 frames of recovery. And it should be attack level like 1 at the most. And honestly, it's okay. Honestly, if you do that, it's okay. I believe that as long as you make this punishable, in some semblance of punishable, it's fine. If you want to go further, you can make this only +2 when it's like very spaced out so that people can't be like doing like the fucking 6XL into 6XL into 6XL, and that's like a 50-50 3 times, because they could frame trap or frame trap at any point. And once you do that, honestly, I think the move is okay. I think the move is okay. If it's attack level 1 and it has a little bit more recovery. As long as you can like hit it with medium attacks, I think it's not that bad to be like hit by a plus and block move. You do that and Brave counter, and I think we're cooking. I think we have a good game, a good ass game. I think we have a good ass game. Okay, so that's it for the video. This is gonna be one of the first videos on the channel, so please like, comment, subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell and tell your friends that we are doing content in this channel as well. So if they want more Rising content, they can subscribe. And I'll see you guys later.